Step 2, safety. I'm going to drag this down. We'll have a couple of these categories. So, some examples for safety: medical, savings, it's financial security. And then for some people, you might need a specific line item for if you say your regular medical is one thing, but then you have a specific dental cost, or you have a specific medication that you're on that costs a certain amount. I'm going to just put specific medical as the example. Now, let's talk pets. Pets on the Maslow's hierarchy would be the love and belonging tier, but since it's a living creature that's living with you and you made a commitment to that creature also has physiological needs. So we're going to put pet between physiological and safety, because technically you're taking care of their physiological needs, but we want a visual difference in the line item, right? So typically that'll be pet food and vet costs. Additionally, for financial security, if you have debt that you're paying down that is the type of debt that if you don't pay it, it's going to sincerely negatively impact your life, that would probably go with safety because it's financial security. Now, if it's the type of debt where if you don't pay it, it will not be as big of a deal as soon, that's more likely to be further down in the esteem category. So for example, I have a car note. If I do not pay my car note, my car will get repossessed. That is an immediate effect to my ability to get to work. So I have to put my car note, paying that debt, in safety because that immediately affects my financial security. However, if I were to experience catastrophe and I did not, for example, pay my student loans, it would take a while for them to begin garnishing my paycheck. Now, obviously, we don't want to do this, but this is just starting to think about where in the hierarchy the debt falls. Now, if you like the look of it better, you can put all debts in the same place. I tend to put all car in the same place within safety because that is part of financial security. Transport, how do you get to work? So for me, I'm going to put car note and insurance and gas, because that's financial security for me, how I get to work. If you're somebody who takes the train, then your transit pass is going to go there. Again, this can vary. You're just thinking, what creates financial security? At what point do you make sure that you can get to and from work, right? That's all this is. So, okay. Technically speaking, your pet's food goes up here, and then vet costs would go down here with safety. Okay. I personally buy pet food usually once a month. Vet costs is a variable, you save for that. Medical, that's a variable. Savings, that's just a savings category. Specific medical, so again, this is something for if you have specific medications that you know you have to pay every month, or a specific, piece of dental work that you know you're paying every month. So for me, I have 2 different medications that I'm on that total $26 per month. And then I go to see the doctor for $40 at least 4 times a year. So I'm going to do this math here real fast. Equals 40 times 4. So that's my doctor for a year. Equals 26 times 12 equals sum. So this tells me, like, my regular normal medical costs guaranteed $472 per year. So if I take this and just divide it by 12, okay, so $40 a month. So just for ease of calculation, we're going to call this monthly. My car note is $221. My insurance is $114. Equals 221 plus 114. So that's $335 a month. Pro tip, when I'm doing a monthly cost, if it is an odd number like this, that's going to give me a 50 cents out of my check. I don't like that. I will round up to the next dollar, and then if I end up with a couple extra dollars in there, then that's some nice margin if a check is a few dollars short. So I'm going to call this $336 per month. Gas, that's weekly. Every week, I would say I spend $25 on gas. So, equals this times 2. Equals, and it already wants to give me that divided by 2? Yes, indeed. Equals, that divided by 2? Yes, indeed. Okay. Pet food. We're going to say $28 a month. I have a cat. Now I don't have litter in here. That's kind of separate. Some people have dogs. We're just doing a sample. Okay, so these are variables, right? Now vet costs and medical, these are amounts that I would like to build up. So I want to set a goal of what's an amount of money that is reasonable given how much I have left in my check that can go into these categories to save up for the event of an emergency, right? So, out of 12 months, let's say I want $500 equals 500 divided by 12. So that's about $42 per month. It's not a lot, but it's a little cushion between me or my cat and an emergency medical bill. So I'm going to put 42, 42. Yes, I would like to divide that by 2. Notice how I don't have to do a whole lot of math because Excel will do it for me. Okay, so what's left? Regular savings. This is like an emergency fund, right? And then clothing. So we know that this number gets us $500 in a year. That's not a lot, right? But this is just trying to figure out how to get all of our needs covered. And this is not self-esteem and self-actualization level clothing. This is my shoes have fallen apart. So I'm going to say $40 a month, which is not a lot, but it's something. So savings, Again, a $500 emergency fund is not big. It's not. But this income is also not big, and this rent is huge. This sample number, it's pretty big. We're millennials, so I used reasonable numbers, considering what we're all dealing with. Okay, so we have physiological and safety needs covered, not hugely covered, but covered, and there's $325 a check left over. So now, let's talk about some going out. Let's talk about some fun money. I'm going to call this belonging, because I don't want to put two words. So I'm going to say eating out, and then events. So events would be maybe your contribution to a party. Maybe you like to go to festivals. That type of thing. Whereas eating out is more your friends say, let's get tacos. Everybody gets tacos, right? So this is variable. Because in one season it might be go to the movies. In another season it might be save up for a more significant festival. It really depends on your lifestyle and your friends and what you do to connect with other people. Eating out. This is something that would be per week. So, we're going to do like this. We're going to fill this up. Events. All right. There's $325 left in this check. So if eating out is $100 a week, that already drops it down to $125. So this is where things get sticky, because the fun stuff costs a lot of money. So at this point, you got to ask, what numbers can you keep to for these higher level needs? Once these are covered, what can you keep to, right? All right, so maybe I want $1,000 a year for events. Festivals are expensive. Now, you've got space. You can add more line items. Maybe you need a line item in your budget specifically for if you smoke cigarettes. Maybe you need a line item in your budget specifically for spa days. Maybe that's really important to you as part of self-care. This depends on you. This is just a sample. This is just me showing you how to set it up. But the important part is you start with these physiological needs, then move into safety, then see what do you have left to do this. $83 left. Do you save it? Do you spend it? Maybe you have a gym membership. It depends on you. It depends on your lifestyle. Anyway, this has been Maslow's Hierarchy Budgeting 101. If you're interested in following along on my journey of my paycheck got cut in half this year, and I'm going to be documenting how I survived that, then give me a follow.